Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Cynthia, welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be doing a video that may come as quite a surprise to many people and many of my followers and the people that know me. So as of last week Saturday, today I'm filming, it is Saturday the 19th, few days until Christmas, woohoo. Yeah. As of this time last week, I decided to become vegan. Now, yeah, like I mentioned, this might come as a big surprise to many of you because to give a bit of a background, I grew up in a meat-eating household. So both my mum and dad are meat eaters. We would have your typical, I don't know, meats with mostly all of our dinners throughout the week. I'd have chicken for my roast dinner or chicken for a Christmas dinner, etc. Never really was that introduced to the idea of becoming a vegetarian. I knew that there were a small amount of children at my school who were vegetarian, and it was quite alienating. It was, you know, not the norm to be vegetarians. I started off growing up in a meat-eating household and things were pretty much the same until I went to university. Now, the university that I went to was based in Brighton at the University of Sussex, and there's a really large community of vegans in Brighton especially. Loads of different places that you can eat. There's a load of activism going on there. And a lot of my friends at university were actually either vegetarian or vegan. So I got introduced to the term veganism because it was previously just for me known as being a vegetarian or a meat eater. But actually it turns out that there was this whole movement known as veganism. So this meant that, so for those of you who don't know and you're watching this video, the difference between being a vegetarian and a vegan is a vegetarian simply just does not eat any meat, and a vegan doesn't eat any products that come from animals. So that will be milk including, also eggs as well. If these are inside certain products, so like for example a cake that's made of eggs, that is not vegan, etc. You can also become a pescatarian too, so that's simply a non-meat eater but you do eat fish. So yeah, loads of different terms. Flexitarians also used, where people decide when they're vegetarian and when they're not. But anyway, that's sort of how I got introduced to the term. That's how I got introduced to the movement of veganism. So yeah, I was open to this new idea and I was being educated from my friends at university who were vegan and as to why they chose to be vegan. Now, I also had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing a well-known activist in the vegan community, Earthling Ed. Now, at the time, I didn't understand quite of how much of a pleasure it was to be meeting him and interviewing him. So for those of you who don't know, at the University of Sussex, I previously was a digital media guru, so it meant that I partaked in a lot of digital content creation for the university. It was part of my part-time job to do interviews and things like that. And the night before I found out that I was interviewing Earthling Ed, I didn't have a clue who he was, so I did a bit of research, watched a few of his videos, and actually found him quite informative. And I really liked the way that his energy and the passion flowed through his activism, and it didn't come across as angry or pushy. So yeah, it was really quite refreshing because a lot of vegans have stereotypes for being quite crazy or very demanding and they're right and you're wrong sort of thing. So yeah, it was a breath of fresh air to see this Earthling Ed. I'll insert a little clip here if I can find one on my SD cards. But yeah, really great pleasure of meeting him and interviewing him. So learned a little bit about vegan activism from him, and my knowledge of it was building up and building up. And fast forward, I've now graduated from the University of Sussex, and this summer 2020, in June or July, I believe it was, I decided to become vegetarian. I decided to cut out meat. So at first I was pescatarian. I just ate fish and didn't eat any other meat. And then I slowly became vegetarian and decided not to eat any meat at all, including fish, because they are also animals. And yeah, I was really enjoying it. Vegetarianism is quite publicly spoken about in the public eye nowadays, on the media, on social media. It is not unknown. There is also a lot of options for vegetarians in the supermarkets nowadays. So yeah, it sort of made sense to me just to become vegetarian, because the thought of eating meat to me anymore was, you know, a bit gross, to be honest with you. And yeah, I really enjoyed that process, but I started to understand over my months of research that being vegetarian was not enough, and I needed to cut out any sort of animal byproducts, including milk and eggs. Now, if you know me, I'm a massive cheese lover. Cheese and wine nights, oh my god, are the way to my heart. Chocolate, massive chocolate lover, chocolate milk, etc. So for me, becoming vegan this soon, I didn't expect it to happen, but to be honest with you, after watching this one video, it was just the last push I needed to become vegan in December 2020. So yeah, I'm here, and I'm here to bring you my story as to why I've become vegan. And it's a combination of loads of things over the years, being introduced to vegan activism, being introduced to the term vegetarians beforehand, not eating meat, slowly educating myself, and to this final point, watching this one last documentary. Now, I've watched other documentaries in the past. There's the one, I can't quite remember what it's called, but it's a really moving video, and it's where there's a couple at the restaurant and they choose to order I don't know, some sort of meat, and they say, okay, well, if you want to do this, here's the knife, go and kill it yourself in the back room. And I think that was very triggering to start off with, and it sort of helped you to connect the dots to see that, you know, just because this meat comes in a plastic container and it's, you know, not got blood on it, it's labelled up in the Tesco aisle, you know, doesn't disconnect from the fact that there was a journey and a process of that meat getting there on that shelf. So there's also Game Changers on Netflix. I watched this with my friend Elise. We run Kent Blogger Group together, and yeah, it was just interesting to see that the athletes who chose to switch to a vegan / plant-based diet, it actually really drastically improved their fitness levels. So that was quite eye-opening to see. Also, word of mouth and just general chit-chat with my friend Elise. She's looked into a lot of research as well. She's vegetarian at the moment, I think trying to transition vegan too, but she mentioned to me why she was no longer drinking milk. Now, a lot of people won't know that actually the process of getting the milk, and the reason why we get a vast amount of it, is that these cows are getting impregnated and pushed with lots of stuff in order to produce this mass amount, and they're getting very unwell, and a lot of them are producing pus. So a lot of the milk that we think that we're drinking that's 100% fresh isn't, and actually we're drinking quite a lot of pus. So she switched to drinking oat milk, and you know, that was a bit of a conversation that we had. But this video was the last push. Now, I am going to read it off here because I feel like this explains it quite beautifully and better than I'll be able to vocalize it to you guys. But it is a film created by, well, it's a documentary feature-length film created by Dominion, presenting an uncompromising, damning exploration of the various ways animals are used and abused by humans, particularly in the meat, dairy, egg, clothing and entertainment industries. So this was filmed in Australia, combines a lot of footage from handheld, hidden and aerial drone cameras. Much of it has never been seen before, and it's to convey both the terrifying scale of an empire built on secrecy and the individual stories of its victims. Now, honestly, this video slash film is a must watch, and I'll leave it linked down below in case you want to go and see it. I urge you to go and see it. I'm not necessarily it's not necessarily going to make you become vegan, but I think it will connect the dots and turn on a lot of lights for you and a bit of a better understanding for what goes on behind closed doors. And to be honest with you, the footage that I saw was horrific, something out of a horror movie. And to be honest with you, if I could compare it to anything, it's sort of a modern day Holocaust for animals. The way that they treat these animals, they don't even treat that, they abuse these animals, and yeah, it just makes my blood boil, and it makes me very, very angry that this is all going on behind closed doors, and the fact that it's not spoken about more. And I thought, if I'm going to become vegan myself, I'm gonna be all in or I'm gonna be all out. And I said, I'm gonna be all in from this day. My boyfriend recently also became vegan too, and there was a little bit of conversation there, and I was beginning to understand, you know, that being vegetarian wasn't enough. And we sat down and we watched this video together, and I was, you know, sick in my throat. That was enough to push me over the edge, on top of all of the other stuff that I just previously mentioned into the build-up of becoming vegan. That was enough to say, right, okay, that's it. I'm becoming vegan. I'm veganizing my lifestyle. I do not need any products from animals whatsoever, whether it be, you know, within my food, whether it be what I wear. So for example, I gathered all of my leather goods together. I am selling them on Depop. I am donating the money to Sanctuary, some of the money, and also using some of the money to reinvest back into my wardrobe, because I don't actually, after looking at a lot of the things that I have, I've got quite a lot of designer items that contain leather in them. So yeah, I'm pretty much stripping out my whole wardrobe. Now, I know this is not the most environmentally friendly way of doing it. A lot of people would argue that I use these items of clothing up, or products that I have, until I need a new pair and then reinvest into a vegan alternative. But no, for me, I'm all in or I'm all out, and this is the way that I am going to be veganizing my lifestyle. Some people may agree, some may disagree, but hey ho, it's not a perfect world. Nobody is perfect. So yeah, this is the way I'm doing it. So this is my story of becoming a vegan and veganizing my lifestyle. Yeah, I hope it's informative and somewhat interesting, because this will be a big shock to a lot of people. And as a very materialistic person, somebody who loved Gucci and all of these designer brands, for me to say, right, okay, put them back into their boxes and get rid of them, essentially, will come as a big shock to a lot of people. But yeah, that's it. I do not believe it. I do not want to support an industry that is cruel to animals, just for the sake of, you know, wearing a leather handbag and showing it off. Now I've got a completely different mindset now, if you can't tell. But yeah, it's just gross. I refuse to put any of my money into this industry anymore. And yeah, unfortunately being vegan isn't enough to stop this from happening, but it's something. It is a change. It's a change that I am passionate and I am willing to make, because I really hope that, you know, this could stop one day. I mean, it's not going to in our lifetimes, but it's just awful. I watch the video and see for yourself, to be honest with you, if you don't believe me. It's awful what goes on behind closed doors. And I think I spent my whole sort of life, you know, unknowingly unaware of it. So yeah, just a bit of education has set me foot in the right direction now, and I believe that this is something that, this is where my passion now lies, is veganism, becoming vegan and activising for it in my own way through my YouTube channel, through the content that I push out on social media. So I've got my original Instagram account at Cynthia. I'll post fashion things and things like that and beauty stuff, but it's all going to be vegan from now on. So I wanted to introduce that here on my channel to give a little bit of a background for my existing followers, so that they know what's happened and why I've decided to make this change. I've also decided to make another Instagram account. It's at The Luxurious Vegan. Now, this account is going to be strictly vegan content, so pushing out all of my vegan food that I'm eating, products, fashion, etc. Yeah, just because I think this might be a bit weird for non-existing, for my other followers before who followed me in my non-vegan lifestyle. So I've decided to make a separate account, yeah, just to like separate the two in a way. Two different completely niches, one strictly vegan, one just personal and, you know, general lifestyle stuff. So hopefully that clears things up, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and respect exactly why I am going vegan. And yeah, hopefully it educates you, and you know, you watch this video and you go away and you take a second thought about, you know, how your leather handbag got in your hands and how the leather shoes got onto your feet, and how the birthday cake in front of you containing eggs and milk got in front of you. But yeah, by all means, I'm not going to be pushy. I'm working on my activism and how I'm going to approach it. But I think the start that I'm making by pushing out vegan content on my social platforms is somewhat helpful. And feel free to write down in the comments below any sort of tips and advice if you're already vegan, or if you are transitioning into becoming a vegan, because I would find it very, very helpful, as I'm still new to this whole new lifestyle. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day or evening wherever you are in the world. And yeah, don't forget to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more sort of vegan content. It will really, really help me out. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Bye.